Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we're here live at the World Trade Center in Seattle. I'm here with Jim Makoso, founder of Lucid Oils. Jim is a cannabis extraction processing professional in the cannabis industry. In January 2015, he co-founded Lucid Lab Group, a cannabis extraction technology company based in Seattle. Jim's vision was to create a scientific approach to cannabis essential oil processing by utilizing customized capital equipment in combination with proven scientific processes. By taking a quality-centric approach, Jim has created a company culture known throughout the industry for quality in product and process. Prior to co-founding Lucid, Jim engaged Vuber Technologies as an angel investor in January of 2014. He joined the business management team, where he held the position of vice president responsible for strategic partnerships and business development until October of 2015. He remained on the board of directors until December of 2016, and by spearheading a business model focused on product development while maintaining a customer-first approach, Vuber has become a leading vaporizer company with strong partnerships that include manufacturers, cultivators, processors, and retailers throughout the U.S. Prior to his involvement in the cannabis industry, Jim was a finance professional in New York for 6 years. He holds an economics degree from Stony Brook University with a focus in business finance. Jim, thanks for being on board.
Thanks for having me.
But as we wrap this interview up, want to ask about where things are going to be heading in the future. So we're looking at herbal extracts that are gaining notoriety worldwide with the rising health consciousness towards consumption of natural and organic products. We see that plant extracts in North America mainly used for food additives, while it's widely used in Europe, like you mentioned, for medicine. Due to the high demand of quality plant extract concentrates from places like China, the price and is expected to increase, but on a smaller scale. There's a recent study that recommends new entrants whose only value add is capital, but without tribal knowledge, technical advantage, and downstream support to not enter the plant extract field, as they see strong sales, but with lower revenue expectations. And so with all of that, how do you see the extraction process changing over the last 5 years? What do you predict will happen in the next 5 years? And what's the most interesting thing you've seen this year?
Well, over the last, we've seen a lot of changes in the last 5 years. People have become much more educated, especially in the recreational markets here in the U.S. I would say the markets here in the U.S., the recreational markets are definitely driving innovation and extraction. And over the last 5 years, kind of the big changes we've seen is, people going bigger, finding cleaner, more efficient ways to do things. But I would say that, the big guys and the best have always been the best, no matter what equipment they had. And now they just have good equipment and probably a good amount of capital to build much better facilities. And that's probably the biggest change I've seen is people went from, the best extractors were doing it in their garage or in maybe a small facility that wasn't very safe. Now those best extractors are, they have a production facility that would rival any manufacturing plant you'd see in any other industry. So that's kind of one of the biggest changes I've seen. I think one of the big changes we're going to see or in the next 5 years are going to be on the regulatory front, especially here in the U.S. As more and more markets open up from a state standpoint, I think at some point, maybe not this session and this election cycle, but maybe during the next election cycle, we'll see federal legalization on the ballot, which, there are positives and negatives to that, especially as a business owner. But what I would say is that the big change we're going to see is as more and more states open up, we will see a general shift away from cannabis, especially in this country being, kind of this drug, to cannabis being, all right, it's a plant, just like any other beneficial plants. And in the next 5 years, I think what we're going to see is, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, which is cannabis compounds, cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, alcohols, esters, all types of compounds in that plant matched with other compounds in other plants to produce effects. I was just having this conversation with somebody who, somebody who's pretty active in the space here in Washington and other places last night. And she was talking about the fact that she uses melatonin in addition to CBD at night to help her sleep as her kind of all natural remedy so that she doesn't have to, take some type of pharmaceutical drug And to me, that's just a small microcosm and she's somebody who's very active in the space. But the fact that there isn't a product like that out there already, maybe there is. It just is not hit the mainstream in cannabis of using melatonin and CBD and maybe a little THC to help you sleep at night. Everybody knows melatonin will help you sleep, but the combination of these compounds might help you even more so. So I think there are some companies that are already kind of working on those types of holistic plant medicines with CBD or THC added to it. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the future.
So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. I want to thank my guest, Jim Makoso with Lucid Oils. Check him out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.